Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, I would like to express my gratitude to the organizers, ICRA, Sanjos, for having given me this opportunity of sharing my views and being amongst you all on this such an important topic, something which is latest, niche, futuristic, everything. Well, I shall be talking the topic, sub-part of it, primarily on global strategies, trajectories, and implications. I shall talk about 4 countries, rather only 3 actually, so far as these aspects are concerned. This is based on the open source information which is there. And obviously, whether all of it is how much true, we really can't say. But whatever is there in the open source, based on that. So why I said from 4 to 3, because US has really, there's nothing in the open domain about their military aspect of this particular, that is the autonomous and robotics. So they have instead a national level document which gives out and covers the entire domains across the society. May it be, say, logistics, e-commerce, the agriculture, medical, healthcare, security, and also say disaster management. So therefore, about US, nothing much is available. Next, now I shall talk about China. As far as China is concerned, as part of their modernization, they had 3 different phases of it, or 3 different parts of it. The first one being mechanization, which is basically in the physical space. Second one, informationization, basically in the information space. And the third one is intelligentization, which is in the cognitive space. Now, the third one is the one which is more relevant to today's topic. So I shall just elaborate a little bit on that. On this intelligentization, the application levels, they are looking at the operational level, that is the operational decision making, and the frontline competence. So what they're looking at is wartime commanders who are equipped with supercomputers so that their decision-making speed is very, very fast. And so far as the frontline troops are concerned, over there, they're ultimately looking at almost like replacing with the drones only, with swarms of drones or swarms of these unmanned autonomous vehicles. Like just now, Samir Joshi mentioned that maybe about 75% going into the automation part of it, but rather the autonomous part of it. But whether it will be only 75% or more than that, because if you look at this, what you can read here on the slide, what China is looking at is almost like the last line, that over time, tactical level of warfare will almost be replaced by the swarms. That is what they are looking at. Whether the pragmatism of this, how much actually feasible, not feasible, and the aspects like ethics and all, already alluded to, is a matter of debate, which we can have on some other day, and not as part of today's topic. Now coming on to the next one. Now coming on to UK. Next, please. Now, so far as UK is concerned, if we see, out of those 4 focus areas, the first 2 are related to this particular in specific, that is AI and ML, and the robotics and autonomous systems. And the central idea of their entire this focus is to generate operational advantage for land forces by integrating robotics and autonomous systems within human-machine teams to generate mass and tempo while reducing risk. So these are the 3 actually keywords in that: generating mass, tempo, and reducing risk. The approach they talk of is they say that they will continue with a regular review. Why? Because they want to keep it ambitious and not just look at what is actually possible. They actually want to have it ambitious, relevant, and at the crest of the wave of technological development. Broadly again into 2 categories. One is the operational areas, basically to support the physical and digital systems which are directly in the battlefield. And the second one being mission support systems, basically to support the execution of operations and the decision making. Next. Now, in the technological context, they talk of the entire RAS as systems which are capable of offering infinite number of combinations in both physical and virtual domains. And towards that, the constituents, their entire document actually is very well focused on these three constituents, that is technology, data, and people. And they're looking at various levels of it, right from enhanced to integrated to supervised autonomous systems. Enhanced is wherein basically the machines are being controlled by the human being. Integrated, where the human control reduces. And finally, supervised, where it is almost minimized. That is where the machines are being supervised. And whereas in the integrated one, where the machines are being tasked. And the entire model is based on ends, ways, and means. I shall just briefly cover these also. Next. Now, what is shown over here under these 4 different headings, that is protect, engage, warfight, and constrain, are only glimpses of some of the advantages which they look at it by implementation of this entire document. And they're talking of highly capable sensors and effectors. And finally, they say that software is likely to deliver higher advantages than hardware. Obviously, everything because of being AI enabled. Okay. Next. Now, when we talk of the ends of the ways of it, in that again, when we look at people, they are looking at actually developing a diverse new generation of men and women who are equipped with a digital skill set. And who understand that why and how data must flow at machine speed. And so far as the data is concerned, they're looking at developing a digitally aware culture. And managing the data, that will be decisive. And what is that in that? Basically data which is sovereign, where necessary, enduring, curated, standardized, exploitable, secure, and digital by design. And they say that anything lesser than this will be actually building in critical flaws in the system. So that is how actually we need to look at the entire data management, and very, very much applicable for especially the services, because our data needs to be actually curated into this manner. Technology, of course, they're talking of developing a wide array of sensors and effectors, and expensive crewed platforms, crewed and uncrewed platforms. Okay, next. So they have divided the entire thing into basically 3 levels, that is epoch 1, 2, 3, looking at 25 by when, and then 2030, 2035. By 25, they're looking at only one particular brigade to be as a brigade combat team, which is teamed with the organic, this tactical RAS, something like Deep Strike Brigade. Whereas in 2030, then they're looking at wherein it is integrated with the new generation medium weight vehicles, and basically formations to operate dispersed at high tempo through networked capabilities. And finally, by 2035, by when enough experience would have been gained, so they are saying that fielding new RAS technology to any part of a digitally upskilled army will become faster and easier. And that's where then they're looking at basically engaging in the direct fire zone under junior commanders. And last line is actually very important. Who don't know of fighting without RAS. That means they'll be actually becoming so much dependent that they'll be actually able to only fight with RAS and not knowing how to fight without RAS. Okay, next. Now coming on to Australia. Next. Their strategic vision is to create and maintain competitive advantages for the future land forces through RAS. And in this, what is shown on the right bottom are those 5 basically domains into which they're looking at. I'll just briefly touch upon each one of them. Next. Maximizing the soldier performance. Now this is in terms of the autonomous, say common platforms, which are maybe say chargeable, which are able to cater for all different kinds of loads, say maybe anything to do with the ISR, with logistics, with communication loads. The second one is improved load carrying capacity in terms of, say, some sort of exoskeletons, or in terms of some other alternative load carriage options, which may be even used for things like carrying ammunition. Augmented reality, whether in the form of, some sort of goggles, visor, or helmet-mounted displays, basically to create that local awareness for every soldier. And this is very, very important, specifically in the CI/CT operations, wherein knowing where your companion is becomes critical. Next. Now, the next one is basically when they're, and this is about the autonomous fused common operating picture. That is by fusing the inputs of all the sensors, thereby enabling much faster decision making. And all this through advanced networking solutions. Once we achieve that, then comes to mixed reality, wherein some sort of a virtual actually headquarter, and which is getting all these inputs, and you are able to actually have the enhanced overall survivability through a distributed headquarter. Okay. Next. Now, optionally crewed platforms. This is another something new, wherein you have the platforms, but have the option of whether crewing them or whether manning them or keeping them unmanned. Now, this is something which is actually going to increase and help in that manned-unmanned team, or rather customizing the way we want it. And the advantages of manned-unmanned teams, while Samir Joshi has brought out, basically it increases your entire reach, and also wherever required, he spoke of mass, and this is where that mass can be actually easily concentrated and brought in at the point of decision where we want it. Military deception, of course, can create totally different kind of signatures, and while at the same time collecting information about the enemy. So can be of really very, very effective use in the actual operations. Swarming, I'll not touch, Samir Joshi has already covered. Next. Now coming on to the last aspect, sorry, yeah, move to the next. Okay. Yeah. Now this is efficiency. So efficiency, logistic awareness, of course, with the availability of sensors, and if once you have so many of these robotics and all, they all are generating information wherein we can avoid that huge amount of stockpiling, and only have it in terms of predictive logistics, so that wherever required, the logistics part can be then accordingly moved at that moment. The next one is predictive medical logistics. This is in terms of having some wearable sensors on the human being, which are actually monitoring his health condition, and some of the other systems, all integrated, again then providing, and with the help of the robotics, is that even things like CAS-evac. And that is one of the systems which we are working on, the ground-based autonomous combat vehicle, a Make-2 project which has been initiated. Okay, next. Screen has gone off. Okay, fine. And this entire thing they're looking at basically in three things: enhance and wherein you refine the platform capability, then augment, wherein you extend the platform capability, and replace. Finally, something like akin to what others are also talking of. Okay, next. Now, gentlemen, implications. Next. See, any technology is finally only useful when we integrate it into our operational philosophy and we employ it in that manner. So that is where actually the challenge lies for the armed forces. And that's what the endeavors are being made, so that we have our operational employment philosophies, we're able to capitalize on the power of this, the RAS. Okay, next. Some of the initiatives within the Army, we have got an AI subcommittee, which is headed by me, and we deliberate on various use cases, and then accordingly initiate various projects under those. And at present, we have, roughly speaking, at least about nearly 100 projects going on, having different kinds of application of AI. And in the R&D and or the D&D, utilizing all possible routes of whether IDEX, MAKE, TDF, or ATB. We have established an AI Center of Excellence at MCT MO. And some of the perspective issues, we're looking at HPC AI Cloud, which is going to be coming up shortly. Data digitization policies have been actually formulated. And we are, within the services, publishing our compendiums of AI projects so that the entire environment is aware that who's working on what and how we can capitalize on that. Okay, next. Next. Just some glimpses of just some of the names of the projects which at present have been already implemented within the Army at various levels. Okay. Next. We had our compendium of problem definition statements released last year in February. That itself specifically contained 9 problem statements related to AI. And I'm happy to say that we have actually received very good responses, wherein 81 responses have been received. And we are almost in the final stages of evaluating them. And in some cases, as much as about 17 responses to 1 problem statement. And we are going to be shortly declaring the developing agencies through which then these projects will be undertaken. Next. These are just again glimpse of some of our projects going on. Next. And we are trying to work on the latest technologies. And recently, what you can see here in green are some of the projects which are going to start right from the research and development with the help of IITs. Next. Okay, finally, before I say actually Jai Hind, while all this is there, what is that we need to look at? Is it only the drones or say the robotics? Because the way we are looking at what our adversary, the way he's actually visualizing the whole thing, the employment of these systems, do we also start following the same curve and try to catch up? Or maybe even say move ahead of him? Or is that enough? But no. In military, we have to always look at the counterpart also. So therefore, what we need to look at is maybe simultaneously investing more into EW systems, electronic warfare, because finally everything is dependent on that. And that is what which can make these systems ineffective, or at least reduce their effectiveness. EW, and at the same time for our systems, having maximum possible maximum possible measures wherein we reduce their signature. So the stealth measures are very, very important for all our systems, whatever we are developing, robotics or swarms of drones or any kind of drones. With that, I would like to finish. Thank you.